Hello everyone, Sky Movie is here, and in this video I will summarize the storyline of the film Panfilov's 28 Men. Alright, without further ado, let's get right into the storyline. November 14, 1941, saw a group of Soviet Union soldiers conferring to prepare for a battle against the tanks belonging to Nazi Germany. In the negotiations, a lieutenant called Joe showed a detailed picture of a tank belonging to Nazi Germany. He explained to the others that the tank was capable of crossing lakes and weighed 60 tons. He also explained all parts of the tank in detail to its members, starting from the advantages of the tank to the disadvantages. Not long after, Lieutenant Joe took Molotov cocktails to be used against Nazi German tanks. After that, Lieutenant Joe ordered one of his members named Moskalenko to look for materials to make a mock tank that they would use as training. In short, Moskalenko got the materials, and they all started working together to make a mock tank out of wood. After almost a day, the mock tank was finally finished, and they immediately started using it for training. During the exercise, Lieutenant Joe explained that they had to be precise to throw bombs at the Nazi tanks, and not be late, because if they were late, the bombs could detonate themselves. He also said that they should make good use of Molotovs. In addition, he reiterated that they must remain sheltered in the trenches they have made, because not only one tank they will face, but dozens of German Nazi tanks. On the other hand, the higher-ups are holding a meeting to prepare the strategy to be used. Captain Combat presided over the meeting. He explained to the others that they would be facing 4 tank divisions and 3 infantry divisions. He also explained about the routes that the German soldiers might take to the city of Moscow. He then said that their mission was to prevent and stop the enemy from crossing the Volokholamskoe road, which is only about 10 kilometers from the city of Moscow. Therefore, they had to fight under any conditions to keep the road from being crossed by the Nazi German army. They all then rushed to prepare all the needs and equipment to be used. Before leaving for the location, they were all gathered. Captain Combat divided his team into 2, where the 316th Rifle Division would be positioned on the right front side, and the 50-man Cavalry Division would be on the rear left side. They rushed to the location. Long story short, they arrived at Volokholamskoe. Without resting, they immediately made trenches and prepared all the weapons. They all worked until the morning, because indeed they had to finish it before the Germans arrived. And finally, after a night's overtime, the trenches were ready for use, and all the weapons had been put in their respective positions. In the evening, the political commissar named Klochkov informs headquarters that they have not seen the enemy and are safe so far. Headquarters asked them to remain cautious. They were also told that headquarters would send an artillery commander to assist them. Exactly at 5 a.m., the German soldiers were seen making preparations to attack the Soviet Union soldiers who were in Volokholamskoe. They found out that there were Soviet Union troops already there. They prepared some artillery to be fired at the soldiers of the Soviet Union. After the coordinates were ready, artillery was fired immediately. The Soviet Union soldiers could only take shelter in the trenches they had made. It was felt that the artillery attack had been able to destroy the Soviet Union soldiers. The German soldiers and tanks moved forward. The Soviet Union soldiers who knew this immediately rushed to their respective positions. After obtaining enemy coordinates, the Soviet Union artillery began to attack the German army. Feeling cornered, the German army asked for air assistance. Soon the Air Force, Luftwaffe, arrived, and was about to attack the Soviet Union artillery. The artillery commander then contacted Captain Combat, who was at headquarters. The commander said that they could no longer help, because they would be attacked. The German soldiers and their tanks were finally seen. And suddenly the Soviet Union soldiers immediately attacked the German soldiers and tanks. Until finally, many German Nazi tanks were destroyed. The German soldiers who were behind the tank were also killed. The remaining German soldiers and tanks chose to retreat to re-strategize and deploy more troops. The Soviet Union troops, who were only armed with minimal weapons, succeeded in repelling the German soldiers and their tanks for a while. Commissar Klochkov then reported to the combat captain who was at headquarters that they had succeeded in repelling the German soldiers and their tanks. The combat captain ordered them to stay prepared, because there would definitely be a second attack bigger and awesome than the German soldiers. Sure enough, not long after, the German soldiers were back in preparation. Artillery, which was originally only a few, now the number has been increased. Artillery fire was launched.
Тактика такая, что никакого геройства, все.
Это как?
У зубного был! Была прогулка, а это...
Now the artillery attacks that were launched were more targeted. Many Soviet Union soldiers were injured and even killed as a result of a barrage of artillery attacks. They also began to evacuate the soldiers who were killed or injured. On the other hand, the German army and its tanks started moving towards Volokholemsko, with more troops and tanks than before. We are back again to the Soviet Union Army. Commissioner Klokov is seen reporting to headquarters. He said that they had just been bombarded by artillery fire, and that many people had been killed. Now only 28 soldiers have survived, and only 1 artillery, 2 anti-tank rifles, 1 machine gun and an ordinary rifle. He also said that they needed help, but the combat captain replied that headquarters could not mobilize any assistance. He asked Major Klochkov to keep fighting even with a small army and minimal weapons. Commissar Klokov and his troops immediately prepared all the weapons, including the Molotov cocktails at the beginning of the film. Before fighting, one of the soldiers named Danny was seen praying. He asked God for strength and protection. In short, the German soldiers and their tanks had begun to approach their location. The battle opened with anti-tank gunfire from the Soviet Union soldiers. And soon the German army tank responded immediately. And finally there was a battle between them. Although only using improvised weapons, the Soviet Union soldiers have so far managed to provide extraordinary resistance. They managed to destroy many Nazi tanks. However, the number of German tanks and soldiers made them start to run out of ammunition. The German soldiers and tanks began to move closer to the trenches. With the remaining ammunition, the Soviet Union soldiers still tried to fight back. Until finally, they were completely out of ammunition, and many of them were already dead. Now those who were left could only hide in the trenches and just wait for their death. They use whatever is around them as weapons. The German soldiers were getting closer to the trench they currently occupy. But suddenly, Danny with his machine gun managed to kill all the German soldiers who approached the trench. The German tank leader who saw it from a distance also cancelled his intention to go forward. He and the other tanks chose to retreat. He considered that there were still many Soviet Union soldiers preparing to confront them. In the end, the Soviet Union soldiers succeeded in repelling the German soldiers and their tanks, even though they only numbered 28 soldiers and only used modest weapons. Danny, Moskalenko, Commissioner Klochkov, and 3 other soldiers managed to survive the battle. Alright, that's the storyline of Panfilov's 28 Men. If you like this video, please leave a like, and don't forget to subscribe this channel and turn on the notification. I'm Sky Movie, see you.